You think darkness is your ally. How the grievance machine converts shared enemies into counterfeit brotherhood, then abandons its members when the burden arrives. The truck was supposed to arrive at 7. It came at 6:20 in the morning, because delivery drivers keep the hours of migratory birds and minor demons. Daniel had barely finished his first cup of coffee when the vehicle groaned around the corner, brushed a low branch, and stopped in front of the rented house. The driver lowered his window. "You Daniel?" Daniel raised one hand. "We're early." "I noticed." "You got people coming?" 4 men. The driver looked at the empty driveway. He had probably heard that answer before. 4 men coming, 2 checks in a mail, 5 minutes away. Help is often most plentiful while it remains invisible. Daniel checked his phone. The group chat contained 53 unread messages from the previous night. A senator had said something offensive. A streaming company had changed the race of a fictional character. Someone had posted a 19-minute video about the collapse of masculinity. The men had discussed brotherhood, loyalty, civilizational decline, spiritual warfare, and the need to build local networks before the coming crisis. They had also agreed to help Daniel unload the truck at 7. At 6:20, Daniel was alone. He sent a message. "The truck is here early. Anyone close?" 3 dots appeared. They vanished. They returned. One man responded with a thumbs up, which was remarkable because it acknowledged the emergency without communicating any intention to address it. A second wrote that he had slept poorly. A third said he thought they had agreed on 7, as though the furniture might be persuaded to respect parliamentary procedure. The fourth did not respond. He had apparently entered a region beyond cellular service, personal responsibility, and the judgment of God. The driver opened the rear doors. A wall of furniture waited inside. A dresser, several bookcases, a dining table, boxes of dishes, 2 mattresses, and an old oak cabinet Daniel's wife had inherited from her grandmother. The cabinet was heavier than family memory had any right to be. "You paid for curbside," the driver said. "I can help get it to the curb. I can't bring it inside." Daniel looked at the cabinet, then at the house, then at the phone in his hand, still glowing with the previous night's declarations about rebuilding the West. The driver checked his watch. The clock was running. A second man arrived shortly after 7. His name was Mark. He stepped from his car carrying coffee for himself and wearing shoes better suited to explaining work than performing it. "Sorry," he said. "I didn't realize they would come early." Daniel wanted to explain that neither had he. This fact had somehow failed to prevent him from being present at his own address. Instead, he handed Mark a pair of gloves. They worked. The mattresses were easy. The boxes were irritating. The bookcases caught on the front door. The inherited cabinet required straps, angles, profanity held behind the teeth, and the discovery that Mark could not lift much because of an old shoulder injury he had neglected to mention. At 7:40, another message appeared in the group chat. "Sorry, brothers, rough night, praying for the move." The prayer arrived without a body attached. By 8, Daniel's shirt was wet with sweat. His palms were raw. The driver was impatient. Mark had become quiet. The oak cabinet remained halfway between the truck and the house, like a monument erected to the distance between language and character. Daniel had known these men for 2 years. They had spoken nearly every evening. They knew one another's political opinions, theological suspicions, private resentments, preferred commentators, failed relationships, theories of government, and enemies. They called one another brother. They spoke about loyalty as though it were an ancient metal they alone still knew how to forge. Then the truck arrived. Within 90 minutes, Daniel learned more about his circle than he had learned during 2 years of conversation. Shared enemies had created the appearance of brotherhood. A small burden revealed the accounting error. That is the trouble with agreement. It feels like loyalty until somebody has to lift the heavy end. The modern grievance circle begins with recognition. A man sits alone after work. He has been insulted by his employer, ignored by women, priced out of housing, patronized by advertisements, monitored by software, and treated by public life as a defective consumer who must apologize for his continued presence. He opens a platform and finds people describing his anger in fluent terms. At last, someone sees it. The relief is genuine. He had suspected that something was wrong, and now others can name it. They point toward corrupt offices, predatory companies, dishonest leaders, cowardly churches, collapsing families, and cultural contempt. Some of their accusations are true. Many are painfully true. The man has found witnesses. Then the platform performs a quiet substitution. Recognition becomes membership. Membership becomes identity. Identity becomes a recurring demand for proof. The man must return each day to hear the indictment read again. He must react to the new outrage, affirm the group's innocence, repeat its preferred explanation, and demonstrate that he remains angrier than whatever level of anger has lately become normal. He believes he has entered a brotherhood. He has entered an audience. The distinction remains hidden because audiences have learned the costume of fellowship. They call themselves communities. They share private jokes. They develop rituals, phrases, villains, martyrs, and heretics. Members recognize one another's symbols. They speak of loyalty. They mourn departures as betrayals. Yet the structure beneath the costume is transactional. The platform requires attention. The personality requires engagement. The member requires emotional confirmation. The grievance supplies all three. No roof gets repaired. No debt gets paid. No child gets taught. No sick man receives a meal. The machine can keep thousands of men emotionally synchronized while leaving each of them physically alone. That is its peculiar genius. A real crew asks what you can carry. A grievance circle asks what you can condemn. The first demand exposes capacity. The second exposes conformity. Condemnation is cheap membership. A man needs no skill to enter. He needs no property, patience, courage, record of service, or command of himself. He merely needs an enemy and enough vocabulary to explain that enemy's guilt. Soon suffering becomes status. The member with the largest collection of injuries seems to possess the deepest understanding. The angriest man appears brave because he says openly what others say in private. The chronic failure remains prominent so long as he can explain each defeat to the wickedness of employers, women, banks, churches, bureaucrats, immigrants, elites, boomers, young people, or whichever suspect has been marched beneath the lamp that week. The grievance may be accurate. A crooked employer remains crooked even when the employee describing him is lazy. A predatory lender does not become honorable because one borrower is irresponsible. A bureaucratic machine may grind decent men into powder while rewarding obedient mediocrity. Modern systems routinely move liability downward and authority upward. Truth alone cannot carry a cabinet. Yet the grievance circle teaches its members to mistake diagnosis for capacity. The men become fluent in the anatomy of betrayal while losing the habits required to keep promises. They can describe the controlled demolition of civilization. They cannot remember who owns a trailer hitch. The circle resembles an invisible court. Every day the members assemble before a glowing bench. Evidence is presented. A headline appears. A clipped video follows. A stranger has committed an offense somewhere. The prosecution speaks. The spectators vote by reaction. There is rarely a defense counsel. There is no settled code. No testimony can be tested because the event is distant and the participants are unknown. The court has one reliable sentence. guilty. The verdict gives the members a moment of unity. They know who deserves contempt. They know who spoiled the country. They know who must be expelled, mocked, defeated, or ruined. Then the session ends. The defendant may never know the trial occurred. The spectators return to their ordinary lives with nothing repaired and no authority gained. Yet they feel as though they have acted. Their nervous systems have mistaken emotional participation for material consequence. Tomorrow the court must convene again. A tribunal built from attention cannot acquit too many defendants. Mercy shortens the session. Context weakens engagement. Proportion reduces the voltage. The machine needs a steady procession of villains because outrage is the coin accepted at its gate. Eventually, the supply of outsiders thins. The court turns inward. One member uses an unfashionable phrase. Another refuses to condemn a public figure with sufficient heat. A third earns more money, gets married, reconciles with his father, buys a home, joins a church, or becomes less miserable. His recovery unsettles the group because it threatens the shared explanation. If he can improve his life, perhaps the others possess some neglected agency of their own. That possibility is dangerous. Misery has become the membership card. The recovered man is examined. His old statements are retrieved. His motives are questioned. His silence becomes evidence. His success suggests compromise. Perhaps he sold out. Perhaps he was never sincere. Perhaps he has betrayed the Brotherhood by ceasing to need it. The same weapon used against the outsider is tried indoors. This outcome requires no secret meeting. The incentive is sufficient. A group whose status system rewards accusation will produce accusers. A member gains rank by detecting impurity. The man who urges patience risks appearing compromised. The man who offers forgiveness interrupts the central ceremony. The tribunal cannot stop judging without confronting the emptiness beneath its robes. And somewhere outside the palace of accusation, a truck has arrived early. Now let us leave the courtroom and inspect the machinery beneath it. The grievance economy contains several participants, each pursuing a narrow interest. The platform sells prediction and placement. It wants to know what will keep a user watching, clicking, replying, and returning. Anger works because it compresses attention. A man may postpone an essay that requires reflection. He will inspect an insult immediately. Threat outruns contemplation. The content producer needs reach. Calm explanations tend to conclude. A solved problem loses its hold. A recurring grievance can support hundreds of episodes because every public event can be routed through the same wound. The audience member needs relief from isolation and humiliation. He receives language for his experience, recognition from peers, and a target for anger. The reward is immediate. The cost arrives later, often disguised as wisdom. Advertisers and political operators need segments. They do not require friendship among the members. They require predictable reactions. A population sorted by resentment is easy to address because its fears have already been labeled. Sell one group protection, sell another revenge. Sell both the sensation of forbidden knowledge. Nobody needs to gather in a smoke-filled room and decide to manufacture impotent men. The platform rewards prolonged attention. The producer supplies emotionally charged material. The member gains belonging through reaction. The advertiser pays to reach the assembled category. Each participant responds to an incentive. The final product is a crowd that feels organized while remaining incapable of coordinated work. The system profits from the confusion between intensity and trust. Intensity is easy to produce. Show two strangers the same enemy, and their emotions begin moving together. Trust is slower. It requires repeated evidence across time, property, inconvenience, disagreement, and repair. The platform has little reason to encourage this slower process. A reliable crew may leave the platform. Its members exchange phone numbers. They meet in garages, workshops, kitchens, parish halls, and backyards. They begin buying from one another, lending tools directly, and making decisions beyond the observation of the feed. From the platform's view, successful brotherhood resembles customer leakage. The grievance circle stays online because its object remains distant. Its members discuss national decline, global finance, civilizational war, secret influence, and cultural capture. These matters may deserve attention. Their scale also protects the participants from being tested. A man can spend 3 hours discussing a senator without risking 3 minutes of embarrassment. He can condemn a corporation without learning to read a contract. He can lament the death of community without inviting 6 people to dinner. He can demand the restoration of masculine authority while refusing to organize a Saturday work crew. The distant problem grants moral drama without local liability. Local action is rude in this respect. It insists upon dates, costs, names, assignments, keys, insurance, cleanup, and the possibility that someone will fail in public. Suppose a circle of men complains that young men have nowhere to gather. This is plausible. Public places are expensive. Churches often treat single men as unfinished furniture, and commercial spaces expect every human presence to justify itself through purchases. One member proposes renting a modest room twice each month. The conversation changes at once. Someone must locate the room. Someone must inspect it. Someone must sign the rental agreement. Money must be collected. The owner may demand insurance. A key must be held. Chairs must be moved. The door must be opened and locked. A schedule must be maintained. After the meeting, somebody must clean the restroom when a grown man provides fresh evidence that civilizational decline began closer to home than anyone wished to admit. The proposal converts opinion into liability. The room becomes quiet. Spectators retreat because action produces rank. The man who signs the agreement carries greater risk and requires some authority. The man responsible for money needs access to records and must answer questions. The host sets house rules because his name is on the lease. A complaint circle prefers equality in impotence. Every man can speak. No man can command, because no man has accepted enough responsibility to justify command. This arrangement is often called freedom. It is closer to paralysis with excellent branding. A crew operates through a different exchange. It accepts limited liability in return for limited authority. Responsibility and control remain attached. The man who owns the truck determines how it is loaded. The man keeping the accounts can reject undocumented expenses. The person hosting the meeting can tell a disruptive guest to leave. Authority follows the burden. This principle offends groups trained to view hierarchy as domination. Yet hidden hierarchy already exists inside the grievance circle. The platform controls visibility. The administrator controls membership. The largest personality controls the acceptable interpretation. The crowd controls dissent through ridicule. The hierarchy is real. It has simply been concealed behind participation. A working crew makes authority visible so that it can be bounded. A hidden court exercises power without accepting responsibility for what it destroys. This is where Bain's question becomes useful. You think darkness is your ally. The grievance circle believes darkness proves brotherhood. Its members have all seen the decay. They know the public slogans are false. They have encountered betrayal, contempt, manipulation, and exclusion. They assume shared exposure to these things has made them allies. It has given them common information. That is not the same asset. 2 men may agree about religion, while one lies about money. They may share politics, while one abandons his wife. A man may quote saints and leave borrowed tools rusting in the rain. He may speak beautifully about local order while ignoring the elderly parishioner who needs a ride. Verbal affiliation does not settle character. Mass politics pretends that it does, because mass politics needs low-cost enrollment. State the approved position, display the symbol, condemn the enemy, receive provisional membership. Media businesses use the same standard. An audience must be large enough to sell. Asking whether each member repays debts would ruin the conversion rate. A crew cannot afford audience standards. It needs information concealed by agreement. Does the man arrive when promised? Does he tell you about a delay before the deadline passes? Does he keep confidence? Does he repay small debts? Does he become theatrical when corrected? What happens when the task turns boring? How does he treat someone who cannot improve his status? Does every obligation collide with an emergency of operatic scale? These facts appear under burden. A polished theory can be assembled over lunch. Reliability takes months to counterfeit. Older forms of association placed men beside one another in recurring duty. Farms, workshops, fire companies, military units, parish councils, neighborhood associations, and family businesses pushed character into view. A man could speak grandly on Sunday. Monday brought weather, invoices, livestock, customers, broken fences, and insufficient sleep. Reality kept minutes. Online groups weaken that pressure. A member curates his appearance and leaves after failure. He joins another circle under another name. The exit is nearby. One tap, and the defender of civilization evaporates into a fresh group chat where nobody knows about the cabinet. This cheap exit incurred his identity without accountability. The platform remembers every opinion and almost no obligation. It can retrieve a joke from 6 years ago, but cannot tell you whether the speaker brought food when his neighbor was ill. Its archive is enormous and morally illiterate. The truck keeps better records. It records presence. It records preparation. It records strength, judgment, patience, and the willingness to remain when the work becomes unpleasant. The grievance machine fears such records because they rearrange status. In the online circle, the strongest performer may be the most furious speaker. Beside the truck, rank changes. The quiet man with straps, gloves, and a working dolly suddenly matters more than the fellow who can explain decline in 12 parts. Material work exposes fraudulent prestige. This explains why concrete proposals often attract hostility. The proposal does more than request labor. It threatens the existing status order. The man with 10,000 followers may be useless at the task. The obscure mechanic may become indispensable. The chronic victim may be asked to contribute. The loud theorist may have to receive instruction from a younger man who knows how to secure a load. Reality is impolite. It promotes by results. The grievance economy defends itself through suspicion. When a member begins building something, others question his motives. Is he seeking power? Is he profiting? Is he excluding people? Has he compromised with the enemy? Why does he control the account? Why does he set the schedule? Some questions are proper. Leaders can steal. Organizers can turn common assets into private tribute. Records and oversight matter. Yet suspicion can become a veto held by the least responsible man in the room. A member who risks nothing demands equal control over the fellow who signed the lease, bought the equipment, and spent 6 months keeping the doors open. This is parasitic equality. It asks authority to float free from burden. When the organizer refuses, the spectator denounces him as a tyrant. The group returns to discussing why nobody can build institutions anymore. The machine has consumed its own answer. A functioning crew needs a moral economy of earned access. Status should flow toward men who carry burdens, teach skills, protect confidences, repair mistakes, and produce useful results. Correction should remain direct and proportionate. Private faults should be handled privately when possible. Public damage may require public repair, but humiliation must never become entertainment. Christian Brotherhood supplies a sterner standard than political alliance. Men are sinners under judgment, capable of repentance, owed truth, and forbidden the cheap pleasure of malice. Confession cannot become intelligence gathered for a future dispute. Trust requires the possibility of being known without being harvested. This stands against the grammar of the grievance platform, where every vulnerability may become content, and every old statement may become ammunition. The machine teaches men to build dossiers while calling the practice discernment. Bain understood darkness as an environment that changes the creature living within it. The line is commonly remembered as a boast. Beneath the boast lies a warning. A man may enter darkness to study power. He may learn how fear roots behavior, how shame disciplines speech, how exclusion enforces conformity, and how dependency turns permission into obedience. This knowledge can protect him. It can also colonize him. He begins treating every friendship as a future negotiation, every confidence as leverage, every weakness as an entry point, every disagreement as concealed betrayal. He believes he has become hard to deceive. Perhaps he has merely become impossible to love. The grievance machine completes its work when the member carries the tribunal inside himself. He no longer needs the platform to accuse. Suspicion has become his resting posture. He scans every room for impurity. He interprets kindness as manipulation, success as corruption, hesitation as cowardice, and forgiveness as weakness. He has learned the darkness well. It is no longer clear who adopted whom. The answer is not naivete. Trust without evidence is an invitation sent to every cheerful borrower, reliable liar, chronic emergency, and soft-handed prophet of hard times. The answer is tested fraternity. Choose the burden first, then see who reaches for it. A group built around a task acquires information that a group built around agreement cannot obtain. Work reveals punctuality, competence, restraint, generosity, teachability, and courage. It also reveals vanity, disorder, evasion, panic, and appetite. The burden acts as an honest clerk. This is why a useful crew should begin with work whose outcome is visible, whose time frame is limited, and whose failure will not ruin anyone. Repair a widow's fence. Clear brush from church property. Help a family move. Build shelves for a local merchant. Conduct a neighborhood tool inventory. Arrange rides for elderly parishioners. The task matters. The stakes remain survivable. Each man receives a defined responsibility. Come help leaves enough fog for everyone to assume someone else brought the straps. Tell one man to secure the vehicle. Tell another to bring tools. Ask a third to confirm attendance. Put one person in charge of expenses. Set a time. Define completion. Then stop talking and watch. Who confirms without being chased? Who asks useful questions? Who notices that another man is overloaded? Who solves a small problem without turning it into a personal epic? Who admits a mistake before it grows teeth? These observations form the first ledger of trust. One successful morning proves little. A man may perform well because the task suits him, the weather is pleasant, or the woman watching from the porch is beautiful. Reliability emerges across repeated work under changing conditions. Some men are excellent at physical labor and careless with money. Some handle accounts faithfully but freeze during conflict. Some are generous hosts and poor planners. Brotherhood does not require identical gifts. It requires an honest match between responsibility and demonstrated capacity. Trust should climb stairs. Test time first. Give the man a small duty with a clear deadline. See whether he completes it without repeated reminders. If he cannot, watch how he reports the failure. Reliable men sometimes miscalculate. They make the miscalculation visible before it becomes your emergency. Then test property. Lend a tool of modest value or assign a small purchase. Does he record the expense? Does he protect what belongs to another? Does he return the item promptly and in good condition? Money has a sly gift for introducing men to themselves. Then test discretion. Do not stage a trap or plant false information like a suburban intelligence service. Observe how he handles what others entrust to him. The man who brings you every rumor will eventually bring your rumor to someone else. Access can rise with evidence. A punctual man receives a larger assignment. A careful steward may help manage common funds. A discreet friend may enter discussions involving family trouble, business plans, or reputational danger. This protects the group. It also protects the recruit. Giving a man authority beyond his tested character places temptation in his hands and calls the arrangement confidence. When he fails, everyone performs amazement. The amazement is theater. They skip the stairs. This method has a second advantage. It breaks the grievance machine's preferred bond. The members cease measuring one another by intensity of complaint. They begin measuring by service. The center of gravity moves from shared contempt toward common capacity. A man who once gained attention through outrage must now bring something useful. Perhaps he knows electrical work. Perhaps he keeps accurate books. Perhaps he is patient with teenagers. Perhaps he owns a trailer. Perhaps his chief contribution is that he arrives 15 minutes early and never makes his mood everybody else's weather. His value becomes concrete. The crew also needs a procedure for failure because every working association will eventually encounter it. Tools disappear. Messages go unanswered. Money is miscounted. Tempers rise. A promise made over dinner becomes heavy on Saturday morning. The question is whether failure produces repair. A grievance circle turns mistakes into identity. A missed appointment becomes proof of corruption. Members defend themselves, assign blame, form factions, and add the episode to an archive of injuries. A crew stays close to the facts. What was promised? What occurred? What damage followed? What repair is owed? Did the man miss the delivery? Did he spend money without permission? Did he disclose private information? Did he damage equipment? Do not turn a broken drill into a trial concerning his immortal soul. Require restitution. Replace the tool. Repay the expense. Correct the statement. Finish the abandoned task. Apologize to the person harmed. Then watch whether repair occurs. A man who admits failure and pays the cost may become more trustworthy than one whose record appears spotless because he avoids every responsibility large enough to expose him. Repeated failure is different. Forgiveness does not require continued access. A man may be treated with charity while losing authority over money, private information, or time-sensitive work. Mercy without judgment becomes a subsidy for disorder. The crew must learn to distinguish repentance from regret over consequences. Repentance brings repair. Regret brings a speech. Records help. Men often resist written agreements because paperwork seems unfriendly. They assume trust should remove the need for documentation. The reverse is closer to the truth. Records protect friendship from stress, vanity, faulty memory, and inheritance. Write down commitments, save receipts. Mark whether a tool was donated, loaned, or purchased in common. State how shared money may be spent. Record ownership percentages. If property or a business enters the arrangement, hire a competent lawyer and prepare real documents. A handshake begins an agreement. Paper remembers it after the handshake has acquired 3 contradictory memories. Keep the record narrow. Do not collect personal information merely because a spreadsheet contains empty columns. Empty columns have tempted better men. The purpose is local knowledge under local control. Who owns which tools? Who completed which work? What did the project cost? Where does the group remain dependent upon a distant supplier? Which burden falls repeatedly upon one household? This knowledge turns solidarity into capacity. Perhaps the crew keeps renting equipment it should purchase. Perhaps several families could buy food through a common supplier. Perhaps a young tradesman needs help with invoices. Perhaps one older member possesses knowledge that should be taught before illness carries it away. The ledger makes these openings visible. In time, friendship acquires tools, habits, and perhaps an address. The crew buys a common set of equipment. It maintains a recurring meal. It creates a private directory of dependable tradesmen. It rents a workshop. It forms a modest emergency fund with written rules. It helps one member establish a business and another learn bookkeeping. This is the point at which moral danger returns. Shared assets create leverage. The organizer may begin treating common money as tribute. Friends receive favorable terms. Critics lose access to resources they helped purchase. Loyalty becomes obedience to a personality. Write the rules before the assets become valuable. Separate private property from common property. Require more than one set of eyes on accounts. Define who may authorize spending. Prepare for departure, disability, divorce, and death. Decide where equipment is stored and who carries insurance. Order protects loyalty from suspicion. The purpose is service, production, patronage, and protection. A mature crew bears fruit beyond the men who enjoy its company. Households become harder to isolate. Younger men find teachers. Older men gain heirs to their knowledge. Widows have people to call before a problem becomes a crisis. Children see adults cooperating in the physical world. The church directory begins to resemble the seed of an economy. This is how counterfeit brotherhood becomes real. Yet there is a danger in learning how men can be tested, ranked, corrected, and entrusted. The method works. That is precisely why it can poison the man who enjoys it too much. The field manual must remain medicine. Once a man learns to read reliability, he may begin testing everyone constantly. Every dinner becomes an assessment. Every favor becomes an experiment. Every private remark enters a hidden ledger. Friends become applicants competing for clearance inside his personal security state. He has escaped the grievance tribunal and built another one in his chest. This is how knowledge of power decays into appetite. A leader discovers that he can route men through access, recognition, duty, and exclusion. He can reward one man with responsibility and punish another through silence. He can control common property, private information, introductions, and opportunities. At first, he uses his power to protect the crew. Then protection becomes a flattering explanation for control. He begins withholding information to preserve his position. He assigns burdens to test loyalty rather than complete worthy work. He keeps capable men dependent because their independence feels like desertion. He interprets questions as challenges. He calls obedience brotherhood and suspicion discernment. The machine has changed uniforms. The villain's corruption begins when clear sight becomes moral permission. Bane understands fear, allegiance, deprivation, and theatrical power. He sees that people can be ruled through the architecture around them. His sight is sharp. His error lies in believing that because he understands weakness, he may own the weak. A Christian leader faces the same temptation on a smaller stage. Men reveal their faults. Their debts become known. Their marriages strain. Their skills and limitations appear. The leader accumulates knowledge that can heal, protect, or dominate. He must remember that access is stewardship. A man's confession is not ammunition. His dependence is not tribute. His failure does not make him raw material for the leader's greatness. The crew exists to make men more capable of standing, serving, providing, and protecting. If its members become increasingly dependent upon the organizer's permission, something has gone rotten beneath the floorboards. Trust must rise slowly. Mercy must remain possible. Authority must stay attached to responsibility. Departure cannot automatically be treated as betrayal. Some men will fail, some will leave. Some will repay kindness with accusation. Clear judgment is still required. Charity does not mean handing the common purse to the fellow whose repentance arrives each month without the money. Yet judgment should guard the work. It must never become the work. The grievance machine lives by accusation. A true brotherhood cannot imitate its hunger while claiming a better cause. The truck stood outside Daniel's house at 6:20. For a moment it seemed like an inconvenience. It was closer to an audit. The driver wanted the load removed. The furniture had weight. The rented house had a narrow door. None of these facts cared about anyone's declared loyalty. By 8, the audit was complete. Daniel knew who answered, who arrived, who made excuses, and who prayed from a safe distance. The knowledge hurt because it was clean. There was no theory left to hide behind. Months later, another truck came. This time, Daniel called fewer men. Mark arrived early with proper shoes. A quiet fellow from church brought straps and a dolly. A younger man confirmed the address the night before and appeared 15 minutes ahead of schedule. Someone had measured the doorway. Someone else had put moving blankets along the wall. They disagreed about politics, music, economic policy, and the exact hour at which coffee becomes a sacrament. None of it prevented the work. The truck emptied before the driver became impatient. No speeches were given. No one called it brotherhood. They carried the heavy end. You think darkness is your ally. Shared darkness may introduce men. It cannot prove them. The proof arrives with the burden, usually earlier than expected, while the coffee is still hot and the group chat is still glowing with promises. Let the burden speak. Let records protect friendship. Let repair follow failure. Grant access by evidence, authority by responsibility, and loyalty where it has been earned. The world has plenty of men who can explain why everything is broken. Find the ones who bring tools. This is the phantom of the toll booth. Good luck navigating the system.